You guys have been on me about this one for a few days now, so I figured it was time to address what's been happening to Tony Dungy. I was holding on to this topic for a day just like today because I am completely exhausted. I only slept for about 3 hours last night. I felt fine this morning, but this afternoon it was like I hit a wall. You guys made this one easy for me because you did all the research. I appreciate every one of you who sent me the source material that I'm using for this video. To be honest with you, I was kind of confused with all this hatred, all this vitriol Tony Dungy is receiving from the mainstream media. Two of the biggest talking points in media, especially the sports media, are the lack of black head coaches in the NFL and politicizing your platform. Using the platform that you have been given from sports, which before 2020, sports were completely separate from politics. The media, they love seeing sports figures use their platform to promote causes. LeBron James is so courageous for speaking out against police brutality. Rob Manfred has my respect for moving the All-Star game out of Georgia because their voting laws encourage more black people to vote. For 2 or 3 years now, athletes and sports figures have been encouraged by the media to use their platform to preach the good word. Apparently, though, you are only allowed to use your platform to preach the good word if the message is coming directly from the woke Bible. Here we have Tony Dungy, who last I checked, was one of the only black head coaches to win a Super Bowl. He's using his platform to spread a message that he feels is important, and the mainstream media is shitting all over him. Last Friday, Tony Dungy had the audacity to speak at the March for Life rally in Washington, D.C. March for Life, anti-abortion organization. Tony Dungy, never been shy about his Christian faith. He's obviously not a supporter of abortion. Now, you would also think the shitfucks in the mainstream media would not be abortion supporters either. I mean, just think about it. Abortion affects all races, but it disproportionately affects the black community. Hell, the entire premise of abortion in this country was to control the black population. With the media supposedly fighting against mythical racism, you would think they would attack issues like abortion that kills millions of black babies every year. At minimum, you would think they wouldn't criticize a black man for having the courage to stand against it. But no. Keith Olbermann, the professional wanker spanker and America's oldest virgin, he called for NBC to fire Tony Dungy. You know, because so many victims of abortion could be triggered by hearing him call an NFL game. Not sure if Keithy knows this, pretty sure he's as unfamiliar with abortion as he is with a woman's body. But it's impossible for victims of abortion to be triggered by anything Tony Dungy says because they were aborted. Aborted, Keithy, means they're not alive. Headline at The Guardian, not to be confused with the Cleveland Guardians, formerly known as the Cleveland Native Americans. The Guardian is a British-based media outlet responsible for affecting the UK with the woke fungus. Headline at The Guardian, NBC should finally call time on Tony Dungy's right-wing zealotry. Why in the hell do you even care? Do they even have NBC in England? Don't you guys watch Sky or ITV? We have enough woke shitfucks to deal with here in America. We don't need British wanker spankers spreading the fungus even further. USA Today told Tony Dungy to shut up and stick to sports. Correct me if I'm wrong here. When Laura Ingraham told LeBron James to shut up and dribble, she was accused of mythical racism. But when USA Today essentially sends the same message to Tony Dungy, they are given front pew seating at Woke United Methodist. Initially, I thought this might be another case of black-on-black crime. Normally, when turd-based propaganda is published by USA Today, the toxicity is escaping the horrendous facial orifice of the Star Trek virgin Mike Freeman. He formulates his propaganda sitting in his Death Star wearing his stormtrooper gear. He even has dual screens, 2 screens. One screen for purposes of work, the other filled with images of Captain Kirk for those long breaks of wanker spanking. But this hit piece, it was not the work of Mike Freeman. It was written by some unknown dude named Greg Doyle. Greg is the proud father of 3 emotional support shovels and spends his free time pruning cucumbers in his garden. It turns out Tony Dungy, 2-time violator of the woke commandments last week. He violated the commandment on abortion. Thou shalt not support human life. The only form of life we support is the growth of the oak tree. Now, while they take that violation seriously, the punishment is usually light, a simple pleasure pat on the ass. But the punishment for this next violation can be severe. Last week, Tony Dungy replied to a tweet from the Daily Wire. Check it out for yourself. See if you notice the crime here. Thou shalt not make jokes about the alphabet. Now, what Tony Dungy is referencing here is a story from a couple of years ago. I think it was out of Michigan. A public school was considering adding litter boxes because one of their students identified as a cat. Yeah. It's not enough to just identify as female. It's not enough to get yourself a surgically enhanced pussy. Now, they want you to be one. If I remember this story correctly, there was a middle school or maybe a high school student in Michigan who was pretending to be a cat. Teacher would call roll in the morning. Casey, here. Garfield, meow. The kid was purring in class. God forbid the cat goes into heat. It would be rubbing its ass on every stiff surface in the classroom. The parents, fully supportive of their child's transition into the world of felines. Now, I don't think the school ever added litter boxes, but just the fact that they were considering it was ridiculous enough. Tony Dungy, he was clearly being satirical with his tweet. He was making light of the situation, making fun of it. At least that's how normal people looked at it. How did the mainstream media react to this tweet? Tony Dungy is transphobic! He is closed-minded! He does not support children who identify as animals! I'm all about kids having an active imagination, but I draw the line when a teenager thinks he's a fucking Tiger King. Like I said in the beginning, I was initially confused by the media attacks on Tony Dungy, but it didn't take long for it all to make sense. The revelation came from an unlikely source, an employee at ESPN. Fran Fraschilla, he has been covering college basketball at ESPN for as long as I can remember. Yesterday, maybe earlier today, he was a guest on one of the shows hosted by Outkick. God knows, he would not have been allowed to share this same sentiment on ESPN's airwaves. But listen to Fran Fraschilla explain why Tony Dungy is being attacked by the mainstream media. Watch for yourself.
The reason people attack Tony is because he's a man of God. Okay? That's the main reason. Okay? What he said was unfortunate. He took it back. But we all know that our society right now, there's a segment that if you profess your faith, you can be attacked. And that's the only reason he was attacked.
First off, the only thing I disagree with in this entire situation with Tony Dungy is the fact that he apologized. What is the golden rule here on the channel? You never, ever, 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 I mean ever, apologize to the shit fucks. Tony Dungy didn't do anything wrong, so why is he apologizing? Other than that, though, Fran Fraschilla 100% right here. The media will attack black men for a couple of reasons. One, they refuse to be victims. They refuse to bow to the oak tree. Second reason, they promote their faith in God. Have you ever wondered why the shitfucks in the media constantly attack the Christian faith? They don't ever attack Muslims. They would be labeled xenophobic. Historically, they attack the Jews relentlessly, but today they're afraid of being labeled anti-Semitic. Why do they focus specifically on the Christian faith? If you look at it from their twisted perspective, it's a win-win. The Christian faith has this perception that it's dominated by white people. Now, as you guys know, there is no such thing as mythical racism when it comes to attacking white people. But more importantly, oftentimes people of faith are the most difficult to brainwash. And I'm talking about people of all faiths, Muslim, Jewish, Buddhist, Christian, doesn't matter. They just can't attack the others because they're afraid of being labeled. If they can destroy your faith and whatever gods you believe in, the only thing you have to rely on is them. The church has always stood in the way of an overreaching government. Hell, it was the reason the country was founded. The woke movement is based in evil. It's all lies, all propaganda. Just look at who they target for new recruits. Just think about it. Why do you think they're going after your children? Who is easier to manipulate? The 45-year-old church-going Christian father of 3 who's in church every Sunday, or the 14-year-old kid from a broken home without a father in his life? Answer seems simple to me. Now, thankfully, NBC stood by Tony Dungy. He called the divisional round last weekend. And it was strange, too, because I did not see one report of someone being triggered by the voice of Tony Dungy. But give me your thoughts. Tony Dungy speaks at a March for Life event, attacked by the woke media. He then tweets a joke about children identifying as cats, attacked by the woke media. He gets told by USA Today to stick to football. Now, do you agree with Fran Fraschilla? Tony Dungy is being attacked because of his Christian faith. Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.